Alright guys, I want to thank you for coming back for another video. Today is going to be a quick one for any of the guys who followed my ventures with trying to get my yard nice. You can see it looks like trash right now. But the latest thing that I'm trying on my mower here is a bagger. I've went through mulching blades, regular blades, gator blades, mulching plug, side discharge, and the latest thing I want to do is with a bagger. So I did leave the gator blades on. I have not sharpened them yet since I've owned them. So I really should sharpen these things soon. They still chew up grass pretty good. What I wasn't liking though is Pennsylvania for like the last 2 years has just been rainy. I feel like I live in Washington State. It rains so much. So with doing the mulching, I actually keep my mower at the deck at the highest level. And it just seemed like a lot of times I was getting a lot of extra grass left over and up in the wheels for running the grass back over again. The wheels were green, and you'll see out towards the sidewalk. When I do the front yard, I go out through the sidewalk and it was leaving the sidewalk green. So I would end up blowing the grass a little bit later and spending another 2 hours blowing grass around. So now we get to the bagger. So I've had this bagger on for a few mows. This is actually the MTD bagger, and I'll show you the box for this. This is the same bagger that Cub Cadet produces, or MTD produces for Cub Cadet, except for it was a decent bit cheaper. I want to say it was like 30 to 50 bucks cheaper to not have the Cub Cadet logo on the back. Otherwise, it is the same exact unit. So I'm going to tell you some things I do like about this unit, and I do like about bagging, and things I don't like about bagging. First off, this unit, get the one with flexible tube. If you get the one with the hard plastic tube, I want to say MTD does have another unit like that, and maybe Cub Cadet does have a unit, their older one, that has the hard tube. Trust me, you want the flexible tube. This makes it so much easier. My gate out here is it's a 42-inch mower, so the gate is like 45 inches. I have to take off that side chute to be able to get it out of that gate. The nice thing is, and this will get clogged. I'm going to tell you now, 100%, this thing will get clogged if you run it, if you overrun it, and the bags get too full, or if the grass is a little bit wet. So where this is nice with this flexible tube, you just pull up on this and you can shimmy up, which I won't be able to do one-handed. Once you shimmy that up, you're gonna have this chute open where you can pull out all the grass clippings from there. This is nice because I can tuck this over like this and take that chute off, go through the gate, snap that chute on real quick, and I'm ready to roll. The chute does come off pretty easily. Just undo this twist knob here. Lift up on this tab, and you have that swing pin, and boom, it's out. I can get through the gate, or I can just go to side discharge real quick if I want to do outside that fence line down along the trees. If I want to snap this thing back in, and again, one-handed, it's tough to do, but you snap it in that pin, get it over that bolt there, and bada bing, you're right back to bagging. You get your hose on, and boom, you're right back to bagging. Another thing, this hose is nice, but you will see it will turn green, obviously, from the grass being wet. So you can actually see the grass going up. You can tell pretty quickly, even with it discolored like that, when it is getting clogged. It does have a window up here. You can see the window is pretty much useless. The window gets green. I can probably scrape that off and get it all nice again. But again, it's kind of a losing battle. Trying to think what else here I like and don't like. One thing I wish, I have a feeling that this hole here that goes through is probably gonna get a little bitched up from taking this on and off multiple times. I kind of wish that they would have molded in like a metal washer in there to keep that from opening up, but that's just nitpicky. This thing does fit a little loose. I kind of wish that there would have been some other kind of hook in the bottom. It doesn't seem like it's losing grass really out the side, so I can't say that's really an issue. I know a lot of people have bitched about grass and debris and dust coming out of this thing, coming out of the seals, coming out of this vent, and, you know, saying, oh, you got to take a shower afterwards, whatever. I don't really find that an issue. I mean, you can see that there is some debris up here in the vents. You can see some debris out there, but that's, a lot of that is just from me clearing it out. This thing does seal really good. You got snap here and snap here. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Which I can. You can see your tube goes all the way down. Again, that will get clogged if you are constantly mowing wet grass. Another thing people have complained about these rings being flimsy, breaking, whatever the case is, you know, these latches being flimsy. Again, so far, I can't say that I've noticed an issue with that. It doesn't bother me. These things seem to be, I mean, they're not the most thick plastic, but it seems to be holding up. I take them out back there and dump them, or I'll dump them in the back of my truck, and then I'll go dump them at a fill area that we have for the township. But I mean, otherwise, I don't know. I don't really feel a problem with these. You're gonna get grass buildup all over the place, so if you're particular with that, you know, just realize that's gonna be an issue. These things do snap right back in, no issues. Comes out, snaps in, no issues. And again, you guys see the vents here will get covered up with grass. Again, it doesn't seem to be shooting out though, so it doesn't bother me. Inside of this panel, again, I could probably clean that off, but it's a moot point. It's just gonna get shitty again. When you close this, so this has rubber seal. I don't know if this is a new thing for the new model, because I do have the newest model. It does have a rubber seal on this side. So maybe the people that were having problems with that leaking maybe had an older model, and maybe they corrected that. Does have a rubber seal around this hinge. The rest of it is non-sealed, but again, I don't have any problems with this thing shooting any grass out. When you shut this, what you want to make sure is that this is snapped in. That is what actually holds it shut, and then it's latched, and you're not going to get grass out of it. Otherwise, I mean, when you go from mulching or side discharge to bagging, you know, it does suck that you have to bag. These bags fill up quick when you get rain 3 days out of the week and your grass gets, you know, 5-6 inches tall. I try and keep up with the grass as best as I can, but it's tough to do. It's tough to do, you know, when it rains every other day. So now I'm down to like 1 day a week if I'm lucky. Not if I'm lucky, I at least do it 1 day a week, but it's just tough. So I end up filling up, you know, the whole back of my truck, dropping the grass off somewhere. I tried doing a compost pile back here, but this just turned into an absolute train wreck after the first two mows. I shoveled a lot of this shit up and dumped it at the dump, but if you've never messed with a compost pile before, it is fucking disgusting. This stuff was all slimy and hot and nasty. If I try and do this again, I'm gonna cut out a nice section back here and just dump it. I'm gonna put a gate back here so I can get the mower back there, and I may dump it back there just to avoid the extra time having to dump it in the truck. But if you don't have space like I do to dump that stuff, bagging is a pain in the ass. Luckily for me, you know, not even 2 miles away, I do have a township dump station, so it's not as big of an issue. It still saves me time over having to blow the grass, and I would just blow it with a corded blower, blow it up against the fence, and just try and get on the other side of the fence and throw it away. But, you know, it was trashy, and it was a pain in the ass. It took, you know, an extra almost 2 hours to do. So overall, I am pretty happy with the setup. I really don't have much complaints. It has fixed the issue with getting grass and shit all over the tires, so the sidewalk doesn't turn green. Again, I would have to power wash the sidewalk afterwards. It's just a pain in the ass. So that has fixed that problem because it's sucking up the grass, and I'm now running that shit over again. Obviously, you know, no remnants of the grass on the sidewalk, so I don't have to blow anything on the sidewalk afterwards. You know, anything on my driveway, it's gonna suck it right back up. So, you know, it does have its ups and downs. I think the benefits outweigh the cons, though. you know, otherwise. You can see the setup was cake. I mean, honestly, it took me 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that to hook it up. Basically, you just bolt in this back piece to the toe area. You got your twist knobs there. Throw the main bracket on, put your twist knob there, dump the bags on, dump the top piece on, the chute piece, and well, it goes. It was very, very straightforward. I'll show you guys the box so you can see the part number. So here it is. This is the MTD version, part number 19A3003 1 OEM. Again, this is the same exact setup that they make for Cub Cadet, except for it doesn't have the Cub Cadet logos. I want to say this was $30 to $50 cheaper. Off the top of my head, I can't remember if it was $330 or $230 to buy this. $330 or $230 to buy this. I'll double check it. I'll post the link. I got it from Home Depot. They had it in stock. And yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward deal. We're gonna go ahead and do a quick mow. I'll show you how this guy pulls stuff up. And we'll do another test then after I get the blade sharpened. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started up here and do a couple passes and see what it looks like. When this thing gets clogged. Again, you know, there's only so much you can do because the grass is tall, you know, and it's thick and clumpy because it's moist, because it's been raining non-stop. So you can see down in that chute, that is pretty much stuff. So we'll pull off the chute and I'll show you what I got. All right, so that is the inside of the chute. We'll pull some out by hand just to show you again. It is clumpy. So usually what I'll do is I'll take this piece off and then I'll dump it back into the bag. Go ahead and pull this off and you're gonna see it's gonna be completely clumped in there. So this is gonna be similar to when you're mulching, when your deck gets plugged. So basically, this thing was full enough to halfway fill almost another bag. Not to mention all the shit that left back here. Again, this is all wet, moist grass. Going a little bit lower than I normally do. Normally I keep the deck at 4 inches. I'm gonna try and go 3.5 this time, and see if I can get a quicker cleanup. But again, you know, I'm gonna have to dump these a lot to get it back to a nice height, and hopefully I can keep up with it if the weather works out. But as you can see so far, basically all I got was a ring around the yard. There's a half-acre property. I got a ring around the yard. You can see there's no trails of stuff left over, which is good. See a little bit of dead stuff from weeds. But we'll go ahead and make a couple more passes. It'll be a little bit more indicative of how it leaves things. This is how far I got so far, and then did a ring around, and I've already dumped these things twice. But as you can see from the paths, there is really no leftover shit behind, which is nice. I still think it'll perform better if I actually sharpen my blades. My blades are probably a bit chewed up. But as you can see, it does provide a nice clean cut, minimal to no stuff left over. But again, you do have to deal with the annoyance of dropping the bags. Again, this is kind of stuff that it misses because of my blades. When it gets clogged, you're gonna see it's gonna leave shit left over like that when it gets clogged. So once you start hearing your mower bogging down a bit, and if you really look down at your grass when you're cutting it, you're gonna know when it's clogged. Again, you're not gonna be seeing it sucking up grass as good as it was, but you're gonna hear your mower bog down, and you're not gonna see grass going through that chute anymore, and you're gonna start seeing shit like this left over. That's a good sign that you need to dump your bags. You can always reach back and touch your bags Also, again, you won't see through that window, but you can reach back, touch your bags, see how they're feeling as well. But after you do it a couple times, you kind of get the gist of when you need to dump those bags. But again, I already got my truck bed half done. Again, that's another big clump because, as you can see, I was getting over to the gate to dump it and it was already pulling full. So yeah, that gives you a gist. The thing you have to plan there is if you have a fence, obviously you don't want to run your backside along the fence because you won't be able to get as close to the fence as your deck actually will. So we'll go ahead and start this out. We'll run a couple rows and show you. It's a little sloppy because I waited till it got long, and I probably should go over it another time just to clean up my lines. But as you can see, there is no shit left over. I'll show the back quick. So overall, it does do a pretty good job. Again, sharpening my blades will help probably pretty tremendously. But everything is looking good, minimal trash. Now here is going to be the downside of bagging. So again, this will be minimized when I'm doing it twice a week, but you know, this is a full 6.5 foot bed, pretty much filled up to the brim with grass. So yes, I have that nice land in the back, I can dump grass, but the problem is dumping grass of this extent back there you're gonna have fucking piles for years until this stuff basically disintegrates or composts. So that is the problem with that, and that's why I'm gonna go dump it. But again, you can see the quality of cut, other than a few missed spots and little shit I gotta clean up yet with a weed whacker. But it's nice to not have to blow any shit afterwards. I'm gonna go ahead and get the mower packed up, go dump the grass clippings down at the township building, and that's gonna conclude this video. So if you guys have any questions, comments, whatever about this bagger setup, or should you bag, hopefully this was of some use to you. If you're on the fence about bagging, I think it does a damn good job, but again, you have your downsides with getting rid of the grass clippings. So if you guys have any suggestions for a better way to compost back there to where I can get big heaping piles like that to disintegrate and not be nasty and attract all kinds of flies, bugs, mosquitoes, stuff like that, that's going to be an annoyance when we're in the backyard, please let me know. That will save me some time from having to go dump at the township. You know, again, suggestions as always are appreciated. I am by no means a landscaper. I'm just kind of a guy who tries stuff and watches other landscapers' videos and tries to maximize what I can with what I got. And you know, some things work, some things don't. You win some, you lose some. So I just ask you guys, be respectful. You know, guys called me all kinds of names and said some pretty stupid shit on some of the other videos. Keep that in mind, guys. This is not a hobby of mine. This is not a pastime. This is not something I like to do. I cut my grass because I need to cut my grass because I have a property and, you know, I enjoy my property. I don't like to cut grass. There are much better things I like to be doing on a Saturday morning, like working on my car, driving my cars, or doing whatever. So, you know, again, please be respectful. Realize I'm not a professional. I don't really give a shit about mowing the grass. I just want to do what I do nice enough to where it's not an issue. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.